Hey guys, JT back again. Today I'm out in the living room, and today have some jazz records to show you. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. Um, First of all, and this is on Blue Note. This is Jimmy Smith, and this is Back at the Chicken Shack. This was released in 1963. This was recorded quite a bit earlier, I'd say around 1960. And what's so great about this record, I've been listening to this record since the 70s, and I scored this one, guys, from a man named Smokey. He had passed away. He was the house drummer at the Hotel Riverside here in Reno, Nevada. Actually, my mother and him worked together in the early and late 50s. They didn't know each other well, but when I heard that Smokey's records had turned up at a local spot, I went over there and I did score this one. And let me show you the vinyl on this. This is the New York pressing Blue Note, and this has the authentic stamper on here. Let me go ahead and show you. So this is really a great record for me to have. And what's so great about this record, the great Kenny Burrell is on guitar, and the longtime drummer that worked with Jimmy, Donald Bailey on drums. And this was recorded at Van Gelder Studios in Jersey. I mean, this is just a great, great record. And yeah, this is an OG. It's from, this would be, the New York press would be from, let's say, 1962 to 1966. And you gotta love these Blue Note sleeves. You know, it's showing everything on there, pretty much. All the late 50s and 60s Blue Note jazz. All right, and next up, I'm going to show you some Grant Green. And this is that the reissue on Blue Note. And this is the, I'm so very glad to have this. And one thing about Grant Green, I love his playing. I mean, Kenny Burrell is really my favorite, and then Wes Montgomery as well. And the thing about Wes Montgomery, guys, you know, they really churned him out for popular music, and they always put layered strings on a lot of his recordings. But, you know, check him out on YouTube with just a jazz trio, like when Wes was in Europe, for instance, and he'll blow your mind. Wes Montgomery is the king. But Grant Green is so very, very good. And this is the debut album for Grant. This is from 1961. And of course, well, the first release is on Blue Note, was on Blue Note, and this reissue is so very good. This is recorded at Palace in Germany. And here, let me show you the songs there. And this was also done at Van Gelder Studios. And you'd really classify Grant Green as soul jazz. This is really one of the very first soul jazz records. And you have the great Babyface Willette on organ on this, and the great Ben Dixon on drums. And Grant Green was born in St. Louis. And, you know, all of the genres that he covered were bebop, hard bop, you know, of course, soul jazz, as I mentioned, and jazz blues, and on into the 70s, you know, jazz funk. And the one thing about Grant Green, somewhat sad, is during his lifetime, he was so severely, severely underrated. I mean, what a shame. Now we know him as the great that he was. And lastly, guys, I'm going to show some Stanley Turrentine. And he's about my favorite horn player of all the jazz greats. And I do love him. And here's Hustlin', guys. And this is a tone poet, so very glad to have this. And I'm not going to break this out. I just received in the mail from Canada my RT85, my Fluence turntable with a blue cartridge. And a lot of my vinyl that I've shown, I'm not going to break them out until I set up my new turntable. And the thing about Stanley Turrentine, some people don't know, you got to be proud if you're from Pittsburgh. That's where he is from originally. And you know what I love about him, you know, he's you know, a soul jazz dude, but he's so very blues based in his playing, and that's why he's so great with Jimmy Smith as well. And you have on this record, you have Shirley Scott, who he was married to in the early '60s, and of course the great Kenny Burrell, my favorite, Bob Cranshaw, and yeah, he played bass, and Otis Finch as well on drums. And this record is, you know, I've had this on CD for years. This is just that iconic record. A lot of you know it. And one thing about Stanley Turrentine, you know, on into the 70s, he was just developing and, you know, I mean, just as great as ever. And there's a record called Sugar. I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to know it. It's from 1970. If you haven't heard Stanley Turrentine's Sugar, check it out. It's so very good. You know, jazz, funky, bluesy, you know, just so good. Hey, so thanks so much. I was really itching to show some jazz. I've always owned a lot of jazz records. And yeah, thanks. And thanks for viewing. And we'll see you real soon, okay? All right. Bye-bye.